Make a classic granny square with me. In this video, I'm going to show how to use a single colored yarn to make a classic granny square step by step using the turning row option versus just the face forward option. So to see a little bit of the difference, here's the back side. The top one is the original granny square tutorial I did where you just keep it face front, where the bottom one is going to be this tutorial where we do turning rows. So in the top granny square, you can see how the front side is a lot smoother and the back side has more of a texture to it. And then the bottom granny square, you alternate front and back by doing a turning row. So for the top tutorial, I'm going to link that in the video description below. And this tutorial, we're going to do the bottom square. For this project, you're going to need yarn and a corresponding crochet hook. I'm using a number 5 bulky weight yarn and a 6mm crochet hook. The first thing we're going to do is take the tail end of our yarn and create a slip knot. Put the slip knot on your crochet hook, and now we're going to chain 4. This is how I hold my yarn, but however you like to hold your yarn is that's great for you to create tension. So we're going to yarn over and chain 1, 2, 3, and 4. Next, we are going to slip stitch the chains together to make a circle. So we take our crochet hook and insert it into our chain 1 right by our knot. So we yarn over and pull through and then slip the first loop on your hook through the second loop to create a circle. Now we're going to start the first row of our granny square. To do this, we're going to chain 3, and this will count as our first double crochet. Once we have our chain 3, now we're going to double crochet into the center of our circle. So we're going to yarn over, go through the center of our circle, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your crochet hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 to make our first double crochet. Now our second, yarn over, go through the middle of the circle, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your crochet hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. And that is your first set of 3 double crochets. As remember, our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. Now we're going to chain 2 and do our second set of 3 double crochets into the center our circle. So here's 1 double crochet. We're going to do a second double crochet, yarn over, go through the center, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And now we're going to do our third double crochet, yarn over, go through the center, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and do another set of 3 double crochets into the center of our circle. There's 1, second double crochet, and third double crochet. After you do your 3 double crochets, chain 2. And now we're going to do our last set of 3 double crochets. So the pattern is 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, chain 2. In the next rows, I will pick up the pace a little bit because it is a repetitive of double crochets and chains. But if I go a little bit fast for you, just after I give the instruction, pause the video to catch up to where I'm at and then press play to resume. So now we have our last double crochet, and now we're going to chain 2. And then to join the row together, we're going to slip stitch into the top of our chain 3 that we started with. So if you see our chain 3, you see there's 3 chains, and then there's this loop where it connects to the double crochet. I like to slip stitch it right into there. So put your crochet hook through the hole, pull up a loop, and then slip stitch the first loop into the second loop. And now you have your first row joined, and it creates like a cross look or an X look depending on how you hold it. Now for row 2, we're going to chain 3, and then we are going to turn our work because we want to do 3 double crochets into this hole where our chain 2 is. So this is a corner. Our chain 3 acts as our first double crochet, and so we're going to do 2 more. So there's 2 double crochet, 3 double crochet. In a corner, we need to chain 2, 1, 2, and then do 3 more double crochets into the same hole. And this is how we're doing our increase and also making the corner for our second row. So you have 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, all into the same hole of the bottom chain 2. Next, now we're on the straight of the row. We want to chain 2 because there's 3 double crochets in the bottom. And now we want to work 3 double crochets into our hole. Again, this is a corner, so we'll do 3 double crochets. Now we want to chain 2 because we're in the corner and work 3 more double crochets into the same hole to create our corner. So there's our second double crochet and now our third double crochet. Next we want to chain 2 because we have 3 double crochets below, and now we're to our next hole, which is a corner. So we're going to do 3 double crochets. 1, here's 2, and 3. Now we need to chain 2 because we're still in the corner, and then do 3 more double crochets into the same hole. And 3. Next, on the row below, we have 3 double crochets, so we need to chain 2. Now we're to our corner. And so we have to do the same pattern. We want to do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, all into the same hole. So there's our 3 double crochets, chain 2, and now 3 more double crochets. And here's our third double crochet. All right, and now below is 3 double crochets, so we want to chain 2, and then to join the row, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to slip stitch into the top of our chain 3. So here is now what the granny square looks like, having 2 rows completed. Next, we're going to do row 3. For row 3, we want to chain 3, and then turn our work to create our next row. Now we already have our first chain 3 that acts as our first double crochet, so we need to do 2 more double crochets into the hole below. So there's 2, and 3. Next we have 3 double crochets, so we want to chain 2. Next to that is a hole at the corner, and remember the corners is 3 double crochets, chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets into the same hole. This is our third double crochet. Next we're going to chain 2, 3 more double crochets into the same hole, and this creates our corner. 2 and 3. Next, in the row below, we have 3 double crochets, so we want to chain 2. Then we have a hole, and those will get 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. And since we're on the straight now, next is 3 double crochets. We need to chain 2. Then we have a hole, and this is a corner. So in the corner, if you remember, we do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. So there's my first set of 3 double crochets, chain 2 for the corner, and now 3 more double crochets into the same hole. Last one. Now that our corner is complete, we're on the straight. We have 3 double crochets, so we want to chain 2. Next, we have a hole on the straight. In the holes, we do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Next, in the row below, we have 3 double crochets, so we have to chain 2. And then we're at our hole in the corner. And so we do 3 double crochets, then chain 2, and 3 more double crochets in our corner. 1, 2, and 3. Next, we have 3 double crochets in the row below, so we need to chain 2, and this is on the straight. So 1, 2. Next, we have our hole, 3 more double crochets. And 3. Next, we have 3 double crochets below, so we want to chain 2. We have reached a corner hole, so we're going to do 3 double crochets, now chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets. In the same corner. So we have our last double crochet. Now we need to chain 2 and join our row by doing a slip stitch just like the row below into the top of our chain 3 that acted as our first double crochet. Now let's go on to our 4th row. To do the 4th row, we want to chain 3. And now we're going to turn our work. Remember, the chain 3 acts as your first double crochet. So we have a hole, and we want to do 2 more double crochets into the hole. Next, we have 3 double crochets below, so we want to chain 2. And now we're at a hole, but it's also a corner. So the corner will get 3 double crochets, chain 2, and now 3 double crochets into the same hole below. And 3. Now that our corner is complete, chain 2, and then we have our hole, so 3 double crochets. And again, we're on the straight of the square. So after our 3rd double crochet, we want to chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets. Next, we chain 2. Now we're at our next hole, which is on a corner. For a corner, we do 3 double crochets, chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets into the same hole. Once the corner is completed, we're on the straight. We next chain 2. After the chain 2, in the following hole, we do 3 double crochets. Then we chain 2, still on the straight, we go to the next hole, 3 more double crochets. Chain 2. Next hole, we're at the corner. Corners, we'll do 3 double crochets. Chain 2, still at the corner, 3 more double crochets into the same hole. Last double crochet in our corner. Now we're on the straight again. We want to chain 2, then in the hole, 3 double crochets. Next we chain 2. Next hole is 3 double crochets. Now we chain 2. Next hole's at the corner. So at our corner, we do 3 double crochets. Chain 2, and 3 more double crochets. Next we chain 2, in the next hole, 3 double crochets. Two and 3. Now we want to chain 2 and then join our row by doing a slip stitch into the top of our initial chain 3 for the row. So insert our hook into the top of the chain 3, yarn over, and pull through. And that was the last row of our granny square. If you would like to make a granny square blanket, you would continue making the same rows and increasing for each row until you get to the desired size you would like. But since we are going to stop here for a granny square, we're going to cut the end of our yarn and then just pull the loop to secure it. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to check out the links I have in the video description. The one is the second way on how to do a classic granny square without doing a turning row and also using just one yarn. I also have a fast video on blocking your granny squares. After you make as many granny squares as you want, you do then want to block them. How you block the granny square will depend if it's an acrylic yarn, a wool yarn, or a cotton yarn. And like and follow for more. My next tutorial will show 3 different methods on how you can join granny squares together by either doing a single crochet, a slip stitch, or the mattress stitch. Thank you so much for watching and happy crafting.